If you're moving to the DC area in 2026 and you've been Googling, where should I live? I can already tell you what's happened. You're getting the same 5 neighborhoods every time. Georgetown, Arlington, Bethesda, DuPont Circle, Capitol Hill. And then you look at the prices and close the tab. That happens to everybody. Here's what nobody's telling you. The DC metro area is not one market. It's 5 markets stacked on top of each other. And the one you belong in has everything to do with your income. Get that wrong and you're either house poor in a neighborhood that you can't afford, or you're settling for less than what you can actually qualify for. Guys, if you're new here, my name is Jarriel Jordan. I'm an associate broker and a team lead with the Home Team Realty Group based here in the DMV, born and raised in this area. I've done over $70 million in sales right here in this market, and I work with people on relocating to the DMV every single month. This video is the guide that I wish existed when my clients started their searches. We're gonna go tier by tier, 5 income ranges, real neighborhoods, honest numbers. And in the end, I'm going to show you how to use down payment assistance programs to essentially jump an entire tier, which changes everything. One quick disclaimer before we get into it: everything I'm gonna talk about and walk you through is based on the assumption that you have no existing debt, no car payments, no student loans, no credit card balance. If you carry debt, your actual purchasing power will be a lot lower than what I describe in each tier. And that's a conversation worth having with a lender before you start your search. Before we jump in, a quick note on how I'm structuring this. I'm going to give you household income, not individual income. So if you've got 2 incomes in your household, add those together before you figure out which tier you're in. And when I say you can afford X, I'm using the standard rule. Your total housing cost should be no more than 28 to 30% of your gross monthly income. That includes your mortgage or rent, taxes, insurance, and HOA if there is one. Ready? Let's get started. Let's be real with each other. If your household income is under $70,000 and you're looking to buy in the DC Metro, you have 2 paths. You're either using a specific assistance program, or you're buying in Prince George's County, Maryland with as little out of pocket as possible. The neighborhoods I want you to know in this price range are Capitol Heights, Seat Pleasant, Suitland, Oxon Hill, and parts of Temple Hills. These are genuine communities with access to Metro. The blue and silver lines run through Capitol Heights, which get you into DC without a car. Home prices in these areas generally run $230,000 to $320,000, which puts your monthly payments in reach if you're at or near $70,000. Now here's the tool that makes this work: the NACA program. No down payment, no closing costs, below market interest rate, and they don't use your credit score in the traditional way. If you're in this tier, NACA or the PG County Pathways to Home Ownership program should be the first thing you research. Renting in this tier, you're looking at Hyattsville, Suitland, Morningside, parts of Southeast DC, where you can find 1-bedrooms in the $1,400 to $1,800 range. Not glamorous, but it's a launch pad. And if you're strategic about it, you can be saving while you qualify for one of these programs. At this price point, things start opening up, and this is also where I see the most confusion. People in this price range often think they can't buy, but they can. They're just not looking in the right places. In Maryland, you want to be in the Hyattsville, Greenbelt, Landover Hills, Bowie, and Cheverly areas. Cheverly is one of the most underrated zip codes in the entire market. Mid-century homes, a true neighborhood feel, and you're still close to everything. Bowie gives you the space and suburban quality of life with prices that still make sense. We're talking $310 to $430 in most of these areas. In Northern Virginia, Woodbridge and Manassas are your entry point. Yes, there's commuting to consider if you're working in DC, but these prices are competitive and the quality of life is real, especially if you're working remotely or hybrid. DC proper, in this tier, you're mostly looking at condos in Northeast DC neighborhoods like Edgewood and Trinidad. You have options if you act fast, and you're looking between $300,000 to $390,000 for a condo with good access to a city. I know, I have one listed right now. The program I want you to know at this tier is also the FHLB grant. The Federal Home Loan Bank of Atlanta offers up to $20,000 for down payment and closing costs, and you don't pay it back if you stay in the house for more than 5 years. That's $20,000 that can be the difference between sitting on the sidelines and actually closing on something. Welcome to the sweet spot. In my experience, This is the most active buyer tier in this market right now, and it's the range where you genuinely have options across all 3 jurisdictions. In Maryland, you're looking at Silver Spring, Tacoma Park, Rockville, and Bowie. Silver Spring has real transformation. It has walkable downtown, great food, metro access, and still more affordable than its proximity to Bethesda would suggest. Prices range from $380,000 for a condo to $570,000 for a townhome, depending on the specific pocket. Rockville and Gaithersburg push further out, but give you more square footage and a strong school district if that's a priority. In DC, this is where Brooklyn, Edgewood, and the 8th Street corridor become real for you as a buyer, not just somebody looking at listing. Townhomes in Brooklyn are running about $530,000 to $640,000. Condos along the 8th Street corridor can be found at $360,000 to $490,000 range. You're in the city, you have walkability, you're building equity in a market that has consistently appreciated. Virginia at this tier opens up Reston, Herndon, and Centerville. Reston in particular has a town center draw. They have great restaurants, walkability, and metro access, and home prices that range from about $420,000 to $620,000 depending on whether you're in a condo or a single family home. The Dulles corridor has seen consistent growth as more federal contractors and tech employees have landed out there. I know I spoke about Virginia, but the program I want you to pay attention to here is the Maryland Mortgage Program, MMP. If you're buying in Maryland, MMP, the Maryland Mortgage Program, compare a competitive interest rate with a down payment assistance loan. And the income limits for this program go up to around $120,000 depending on the county. And that's a lot of buyers who don't realize they still qualify. At this tier, you're shopping the parts of the DC Metro that show up in the relocation brochure. Now they're actually attainable. In DC, Capitol Hill row homes, Pentworth, and Columbia Heights are your market. These are established neighborhoods with character, history, and real demand. A Capitol Hill row house is going to run you about $680,000 to $950,000, depending on the block and the condition. Pentworth sits a little below that at $570,000 to $780,000 price. Columbia Heights is similar. These are the homes that are photographed beautifully, hold value, and put you in the middle of the city's energy. In Maryland, you're now in North Bethesda, Chevy Chase, Kingston, and Upper Silver Spring. These are quieter, more residential suburban pockets with metro access and a polished quality of life. Single family homes here run about $620,000 to $850,000, and you have room to negotiate depending on the condition and days on market. In Virginia, Arlington becomes real at this tier, specifically the Boston and Pentagon City corridors. You're close to Metro, close to DC, and you're in a market that has consistently attracted buyers who want to live in Northern Virginia without it feeling suburban. Prices in Arlington range from about $580,000 for a 2-bedroom condo up to $950,000 for a small single-family home. At this income level, many buyers don't realize that they still may qualify for HPAP, DC's Home Purchase Assistance Program, especially for first-time home buyers purchasing in DC. HPAP provides up to $202,000 in down payment and closing cost assistance, structured as a deferred loan. If you haven't looked up HPAP, no worries, I have the video right here where I explain the entire thing. At this tier, the constraint isn't income, it's inventory and competition. You have the budget for essentially anywhere in this market. The question becomes lifestyle. If you want to be in the city, you're looking at Georgetown, Chevy Chase, Logan Circle, Shaw, DuPont Circle, and the Navy Yard waterfront. Georgetown row homes start at about $1.2 million and go up quickly. Logan Circle and Shaw have seen remarkable appreciation and offer that urban loft and dining scene combination. Navy Yard is newer construction with a waterfront lifestyle. Condos running $650,000 to over $1 million depending on floor and view. If suburban quality with easy access to the city is the goal, look in Bethesda, McLean, Great Falls, Virginia. These are the luxury corridors. Bethesda offers a walkable downtown living area with home prices ranging $950,000 to $2 million plus for a single family home. McLean and Great Falls are quieter, estate style living with large lots in top tier school districts. This is where you'll see the congressional staffers, the law firm partners, and the tech executives who've moved here for the government contracting ecosystem. The one thing I'd tell every buyer at this tier, don't skip due diligence just because you can afford to. The most expensive mistake in real estate isn't buying in the wrong price range. It's buying the right price house in the wrong location without understanding what's being built nearby, what the neighborhood trajectory looks like, and what the true carrying costs are. Before I close this out, I want to come back to something because it's really that important. Every single tier I walk through assumes that you're coming in with a traditional down payment, 20%. But here's what most people don't know in this market. There are programs in DC, Maryland, and Virginia right now that can give you $15,000, $20,000, or even $202,000 in down payment assistance. And many of them are grants you don't have to pay back. The FHLB grant I mentioned earlier is open to buyers across all 3 jurisdictions. HPAP is specifically for DC purchases. MMP covers Maryland, and NACA is available nationwide, but it's especially powerful in this market because home prices are high, and NACA's below market rates are meaningful in the difference between your monthly payment and what you can afford. What does this mean practically? If you're in tier 2 and you qualify for, let's say, $20,000 in FHLB grant money, you may be able to shop in tier 3 neighborhoods. If you're in tier 3 and you qualify for HPAP in DC, you're suddenly looking at row homes you thought were 5 years away. Your income determines your range. These programs determine your ceiling. Here's what I want you to take away from this. The DC metro area is not one city with one market. It's a collection of communities across 3 states, all with different price points, different cultures, and different programs that can help you get there. Buyers who win in this market are the ones who understand the full picture, not just trendy neighborhoods, but the entire board. And remember what I said at the top. All of this assumes you have 0 debt. If you have a car note, student loans, or anything else hitting your monthly budget, your numbers will look different. And the best thing you can do is sit down with a lender before you start shopping so you know exactly where you stand. If you are relocating to the DMV and you want to understand where you specifically fit, drop your salary range in the comments. I read them and I respond. And if you want to have a real conversation about your situation, what you can possibly qualify for, what neighborhoods make sense to you, what programs apply to your income, the link to schedule a consultation with me is in the description. And if you haven't already subscribed, I'm pushing this content about the DC market bi-weekly. We talk about neighborhood breakdowns, buyer program guides, investment analysis, everything you need to know to navigate this market with confidence. Again, my name is Jarriel Jordan with the home team lead of the Jordan Group, stationed here in the DMV. I'm looking forward to seeing you on the next one.